Hi, Randy.
Hello.
After the interview of last week, I took it back to our group, and they just have a couple other questions they like to have me ask. And they'd also like to know if you could read an excerpt from Asylum Lake.
Well, if I have to, no, I would love to. That'd be fine.
Okay, first question. Tell us about the cover of Asylum Lake and how it came about.
Initially, I'm blessed with the opportunity to have input to the book covers, and I thought originally of like maybe a lake and in the background thunder thunder, or lightning going across the cover or something. But I have a friend who does a lot of photography, and she was showing me some of her work, and I saw the what I ended up using for the cover, a picture of a bridge that I had driven over many times in Hastings, where the girders, the support girders of the bridge, someone had spray painted ghost, and when I read that or saw the picture, I had a chill going down my spine, and I thought that I want that. I want that.
Do you have a favorite character and why?
Favorite character. Maybe the favorite character to write. Probably comes down to two. One would be Ned, because Ned is sort of an unstable being, and just he kind of swings on some very unpredictable things, and that just made me want. It's fun. It's fun to write someone like that. And the other one that's sort of tied with him, I would say, would be the Boathouse Man, because he goes through lots of changes from beginning to the end of the book.
Okay. Is there an Asylum Lake?
There is an Asylum Lake. There really is an Asylum Lake. It's a very small lake, and I don't believe there's any cottages or houses really around it. It was part of a mental health hospital, which I don't know, but I'm assuming that's where the name came from. But I've always liked the word asylum, because asylum can mean seeking for peace, something peaceful, a place outside the storm. And also, when I hear the word asylum, I think of insane asylum, and there's plenty of that in the book too. So, there is an Asylum Lake. The part that I kind of did different from Asylum Lake is I needed the lake to be bigger, to have more cottages and a community around it. So I kind of fashioned that after Pine Lake or Gun Lake in Michigan.
How do you create such characters like Ned and Bull?
I'm a study of human character. I have been and still am a psychotherapist for a number of years, over 40, which is kind of strange because I'm only 24. But I just have always, it's been something that that I just watch. It's something that some people are attracted to watch certain things. I just have always kind of observed personalities, and so I kind of knew the things that I wanted, and sometimes I can find them in books or in movies and just add and subtract things to make it my own, or maybe they just all pour out of me, because each character really is in some ways a part of me one way or another. But so that's where I come up with the characters.
Do you ever get writer's block?
Sometimes I get an idea, but I can't seem to make it fit or it's not fully formulated or something. So there are times when I want to just wait for, I want to think about it. I want to take a walk down the beach or through the woods or go for a drive and think about it or something. But as far as something that just keeps me stymied and I just can't go on, I don't really get that. There's always plenty of things that I can turn my attention to if I want to take some time, to work on the website or work on another book or another place on the book that I'm writing or whatever. But not really. I don't fear them, and I've never really experienced anything of any like weeks or even days. Usually it's about 15 minutes, and I kind of know what I want to do.
Well, now if you would please read an excerpt of Asylum Lake.
Okay, if I must.
Mm-hmm.
This is quite near the beginning of the book. The book sort of starts off with a thunderstorm, a raging storm, and we examine different characters as that storm is affecting them. In this particular case, there's been a like early 20s woman with her child running through the rain at about 3 o'clock in the morning. They both have no protection. There's no umbrellas, and they barely are wearing anything as they're doing this run. And so eventually they find themselves, they try to get into a house, but they can't get into the house. They can't find the key or whatever, but they notice that there's a boathouse. And so they go across the yard to the boathouse and find their way inside. And so this is, we'll pick up from there. There was a variety of places for clothing to drip dry, and in the process of hanging up Mercedes' clothes, Julia discovered the life vests, flotation devices, which she would use to use as pillows. When Mercedes was situated on the wooden floor, she called out, "Mommy, lay by me." "I will, honey. I will. Just lay down." Sadie did, and Julia moved her precious daughter's wet hair away from between them and affectionately stroked her child. "I'm sorry, Sadie. I'm sorry about all of this. You've been so good, and I've needed that so much. I've been hard on you. We haven't had any rest, and tonight I can't even give you a bed. But tomorrow things will be better. I promise. And while I'm just promising away here, I promise we'll get new clothes and get more toys. We had to leave so fast. I'm sorry we left so much behind." Mercedes was still trembling from the storm, or maybe she was shivering. "We can stay in this house for a while. Not the one we're in tonight, but the big house we couldn't get into." Sadie shifted. "Mama, I'm cold. Lay by me." "All right, honey. Mama has to get out of her wet clothes first." Julia stood up to check the door before she went to sleep, and when she neared the doorway, her bare feet lightly made contact with a pail on the floor. This made enough noise for Julia to briefly worry that she might have startled Sadie. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, honey." "Mercedes? Hey, Ragamuffin, are you still awake?" Julia moved into the darkness to her daughter, and bending low, could hear the regular breathing of her child. Thank God, she thought, and began to undress herself, holding now the nightshirt and panties, the total sum of her personal effects. She draped them alongside of Mercedes after wringing and shaking them out. In that darkness, her breathing was ragged, but she remained standing, shook her head slowly with her eyes needlessly shut. "Little baby girl, I don't know what you've seen or what you think about what you might have seen or what you'll remember, but please find forgiveness. I'll even take forgetfulness for myself too. I wish I could forget. We left with nothing, Mercedes, nothing. We had no money and just a half step ahead of of that monster man looking for us. We needed to go fast away and far. Maybe there is such a thing as kindness of strangers, but with the people who were dealt to us, it was in short supply, and dressed as we were, as I was. I know you had such fun riding in those big trucks zooming down the highway, but when you slept, I had to pay up. A mother does what she must. Oh, honey, we've been through enough rain to equal 1,000 showers, but I don't think I will ever feel clean enough. Please forgive me, Sadie. I need you to, because I don't believe I will ever be able to forgive myself. She knelt and gently felt her way until she touched Sadie. Julia lay down beside her, put her arm around her sleeping daughter, and cried. In great sobs, trembling, nearly alone, and oh so very scared as the night rampaged. Their arrival and their nighttime conversation had been witnessed, though, by another, sheltering from the same storm, in the same boathouse, and the same darkness.
Thank you, Randy, for taking this time out of your busy day. Now, do you have any last words you would like to say to your viewers?
Sure. You've heard the words labor of love. Well, it's sort of like that with this book for me. It's not something I wrote in 2 weeks. It took a long time. The words I use are pretty studied. The characters I developed took a long time to create. I tried to write a book that was like the old ghost stories, ones that kind of haunt you. Read it.
Thank you.